Hello friends, this is Olga, mature medical student, refugee in Italy also, and in this video I would like to tell you about the study, how it's possible study now for me, for people who cannot be in person in their country, in their university, and some kind of news. I think it's not about just me, but all Ukrainians that are in Italy as refugees. So first of all, about study, about medical university. It's 3 semester, 1 year and a half left for me for the graduation. So of course I'm waiting for that because the study in medical university was really hard. Despite that I studied online, it's everything almost the same. The only plus for me that I see that I was not it was not obligated to spend the time and the money for the road in university and back, but actually the lessons were not that easy, especially some of them. So now I had been studying for all these 4.5 years, because it's 5th year, so it's not complete. And during this autumn I had been studying with my group. They all were in person, and only 2 people like me and another girl, we were online. But then this other girl, she's from Zaporizhia. This is the region now becomes closer to the front line, because Russians, they are moving forward, they're capturing some small villages. It's not very fast, but day by day they coming closer and closer to Zaporizhia region, not the city. But anyway, I think she's kind of like disappeared, and she had a lot of debts. I mean, there's some sub-subjects she didn't pass because I think of that, because maybe she's thinking about how to survive and maybe change the place of living. So to think that now Ukraine is like more calm and refugees can return home, it's not true, because the war didn't over yet. So for some of people, when the war come closer to their cities, to their region, their life becomes harder. And in Ukrainian groups we're also discussing now that Ukrainians, like Ukrainian refugees in Italy, that now the facilities, the houses, for example monasteries, these places where you can live like for free, they were very opened when the war just started. But then not all Ukrainians can adaptate to that conditions. Part of them, they just moved to another country. Some of them, they found the work, but it's really hard because you have to know the language, and the adaptation is not very easy. Maybe it's for the people who are like, for the children, teenagers, it's easier because they just going to school, they're studying language there, so for them it's easier. But for people middle age, it's not easy, and for adults, like for people who are more elder people, is really hard. So some part of people, even pregnant women, even women with small children, they were not able to live in those monasteries in Italy, and they return to their cities that are suffering from shelling, from the missiles, just because of this psychological pressure. And I also feeling now the same, because I wanted to tell you about my study, but as it goes, maybe first of all I will continue to telling you about the life in Italy of refugees now. So I also now stressed, and my life, I think these 2 months will be not easy, because the European Union extended this type of permission for refugees. They can stay at least 1 year or even more year and 2 months in European countries, but each country on the place, each government of each European country decides in own way some moments and create the procedure how extend these permissions. So for that previous 2 years, Italian government just created the rule that your permission is valid, you can leave, and actually that was not that good because we had the plastic cards, all Ukrainians, and there is a mark the date of expiration. So it's seems like expired because the date is very old. They were given to us for just 1 year, but we are here, all refugees from Ukraine that escaped from this war. They are still in Italy more than 2 years. So we with the old permissions, old permits, and sometimes it causes the questions because not all people, not all, for example, institutions on the border, for example, or in police, they doesn't know that this permission is actually valid, and we also have to take some papers that with this law that it's actually valid, but the date doesn't matter. So it was a mess, and now Italian government want to change. So it seems like better because maybe we will have like new cards with the new dates, so we will be free. I mean, there will be no questions everywhere when, for example, I want to go back to Ukraine and go back to Italy. So maybe on the border I will not have during this year 2025 questions. But they are very slow. I mean, we have to extend our permissions in January, in the beginning of January, but Italian government doesn't know how to extend it. They cannot create still the procedure, so the local departments of immigration, they don't have any directions. They also don't know what to do with us, and our permissions has to be changed. So we have to make the, for example, healthcare insurance. For that, when I go to do that in this institution, they say to me, but your permission is expired. I try to explain them, it's not expired. In the immigration service, they told that your permission is still valid for these few months until the government will create the new procedure. You will change it, don't worry, everything is fine. But the service, medical service, they do not believe me, and they say like, no, you have to change your permission. For us, it's like not your words is just your words. I mean, you have to change it. And in the immigration service, when I come in there, they say like, we don't have still any directions, you just have to wait. And so I'm waiting like all this January. I'm waiting, maybe I will wait in February when they create these permissions, this procedure. So it's kind of mess. That's why I'm stressed. And also because I have to renew my working contracts, and they also demand the same documents, like fresh one, valid ones, healthcare insurance, permission, a new one, and I cannot give them because, so I cannot start work for a new year, and I cannot gain the money for these 2 months because Italian government do not still gives this permission. I mean, still doesn't create these rules. That's why this period is really, really hard. And in the immigration department, they say like, you are the first person, you are the fourth person during this morning from Ukraine that comes with the same question. I mean, of course, because all Ukrainians depend on that permissions. So it's really, really not easy. I hope and I think that everything will be fine But when you have to wait and you don't know, like you're not still sure about your situation, about your documents, it's a kind of not that easy, you know. And now about the study. So I started to tell to you that I had been studied for the 4 years and a half with my group, and actually the group is really nice because all are very clever, and when you're surrounded, when you with clever people, even yeah, first 3 years we were all online, all our group, but then this fourth year, the major part they become attending the university and the hospitals in person. So we were 2 people who are online, and it still was not that bad. But of course, when you are in minority and you're online, it's also not easy. Psychologically, it's not easy because, for example, teacher shows them something and you cannot see it normally. Yeah, so now university wanted to create just a group for people who are studying only online, because when we take in 5 years of study, I am and that girl, we are not only 2 people. There are some people from other groups who are still studying online for different reasons. Some of them are, of course, refugees. So now I have to change my group, and I have mixed feeling because I think that I'm a mature person and I'm not that binded to some people, to some situations. Maybe teenagers and the young people, they suffering when they have to change the environment, the people. They are more dependent on their best friends they had in the group. I think I'm not like that because I have the people there that are for me more precious, but I know that I can still communicate with them if I want. But of course, a bit is not nice, and it's not pleasant for me to change the group and get used to another people for this 1 year and a half. But the positive thing that we will be all online, so it will be easier for me to study online because all are online, and it will be not that inconvenient as it was whole fourth and half of the fifth year. So I think this February, and I think at the end of the February we will start the practical part, because usually the beginning of the February or sometimes whole February in our university is just the lectures. So it's not that obvious, but the end of the February there will be the classes, so it will be practical part, and I will see what kind of group, what kind of people I have, what kind of group mates, and what kind of lesson there will be. It's something new. With the permission for living here, also it's something new. So this month, this February and January, are months of expectations and it's my video. Just wanted to tell you how is my life, and you see that this is the January in Italy, so it's not very cold. I mean, in Ukraine January is usually very cold month, but in Italy it's kind of like for us like a late autumn. Before it was a bit colder, even with the frosts, but now it's fine. So the weather is the pleasant part. At least I can enjoy during the Italian winter, and expect when this all inconveniences will pass away. Thank you for watching. Always yours, Olga. Bye bye. If you have some questions or anything to say, you can write to me.